Welcome back to the ABG Investor Days. My name is Johan Brown, a retail analyst here at ABG. We now have the pleasure to welcome Peter Åsberg, the CEO of Midsona. The floor is yours, Peter.
Thank you so much, and thanks for attending this session. I'm very excited to describe Midsona to you. I would like to introduce Midsona and then also go into our current trading. So we can actually go to the next page, I think, and go straight into the introduction. Midsona is a company within health and well-being, so our focus is on healthy food products, mainly organic, natural products, and we're a company committed to growth. And as you can see on the right-hand side of my picture, we have had some very nice growth over the years. And this is really a mix of organic growth for our main brands, which I will present later, but also acquisition-driven growth. The industry that we're in is an industry that is still very fragmented, and we have set out to be a consolidator in this market. And we started this process in the Nordics back in 2012 by basically acquiring Nordic companies and building our brands. Over time, we have become a leader in the Nordics and then continued out in Europe, as you can see. But still, the majority of our business is in the Nordics. When it comes to channels, we're mainly in the grocery trade, the fast-moving consumer goods trade, what we in Swedish call dagligvaruhandel. But we also are represented in pharmacies, specialty stores, and we also have a food service business-to-business leg of the company. The second way of describing Midsona we can look at in the next page. And as I was talking about already in the first page, we are a brand-driven company committed to growing brands that are healthy, sustainable, natural, and organic. And on this slide, you see a select number of our brands. And at least if you are a Swedish investor, I'm sure that you are familiar with some of the brands. Hopefully and probably you also consume some of the brands yourselves. And as said, we do have iconic, strong brands across a number of categories. We move to the next page. This is a busy slide, but a slide that I would like to spend some time on really, because it really describes our journey and the industry dynamics in the industry that we're working in. And I want to go actually all the way back to when I started in the company. I became CEO already 2007, so I have been around for some time. And the first years were really about restructuring the company. We were very diverse. We did everything from pharmaceuticals to simple shampoos. We were in all parts of the value chain. We had business in the Nordics, but also across Europe. And at that point in time, what we decided to do was to focus on brands in health and well-being in the Nordics. And we had a few of them ourselves, but we also saw that the Nordic market was very fragmented. Few strong brands, few strong players in the industry. It was mainly made up of small and medium-sized family companies. And what we set out to do was to be a consolidator. As said, to build strong brands in the category, but also to acquire good family companies. And that's what we have done since then. Sometime then in 2017, we concluded that the Nordic market was significantly more consolidated. There still were a few companies that we were interested in, and we've actually bought a few companies since then, but we concluded that the majority of the consolidation in the Nordics had been done. So what we did then was to start to look at Europe and the European market, and we took the opportunity to make quite a big study and took help of a major consulting company to do this study. And what we saw then, or observed then, was quite exciting to us, because the situation that we saw in the Nordics back in 2011, 2012. A fragmented market, few strong brands. We saw and still see out in Europe. It's a very fragmented market out there. There are a few strong players. A lot of the sales is still done in the specialty stores, and we see a good potential to move products and brands out in the mass market, the grocery stores across Europe. And we have started on this new exciting journey for us. We did one major acquisition in Germany back in 2018, which was a platform in Germany, a company called Detta. And then in 2019, we acquired Alimentation Santé with operations in primarily France and Spain. So we also created a strong platform down south in Europe. So now we have 3 geographical platforms, which are also our divisions: the Nordic division, the North division, which is the DACH countries, and then the South division, which is Southern Europe. So we're starting to create a very strong system across Europe in our product categories. We can move to the next page. I have partly discussed this already, but our vision is to become the leader in health and well-being in Europe, just as we became a leader in the Nordics a few years ago. And we do have 4 major strategies to get there: to build a strong portfolio of own brands, to be very active in terms of acquisitions. We have done at least one, many times 2 or 3 acquisitions every year. As we grow bigger, we have the opportunity to create a strong supply chain and a strong value chain for the company. And this is something that we're working very hard on to get synergies, to get more efficient over time. And we have a mission, we do have a 4th strategy, which is about creating a healthy and sustainable culture. And sustainability is really at the heart of what we're doing. We're a very sustainable company, have very sustainable products, and this is something that we're very focused on. And our mission is to help people to a healthier life. We turn the page again. Thank you. This is a description of our key categories, but also of our key brands. And as you can see, the better part of the portfolio is an organic product. We do have a very strong position in the Nordics with some market-leading brands, but we also start to create very strong positions in Germany, France, and in Spain. And the good thing about that is that we still see growth in the organic market in the Nordics, with the exception of Sweden, which is a little bit slower. But the growth historically, but also the growth perspectives in the future, we think are much better out in Europe. So we are really, really excited about this opportunity to build our organic franchise outside the Nordics. Then we have a portfolio of health food products. That's conventional food products with a clear health benefit. And then what is really our heritage self-care product, which is basically OTC products, some dietary supplements, vitamins. And depending on what country you reside in, you probably know some of our brands, but we do own and manage market-leading brands as Urtekram in Denmark and Finland, Kung Markatta in Sweden, Davert, which is one of the leading organic brands in Germany, Friggs, a very strong brand in Sweden, but increasingly also so in the other Nordic countries. Earth Control, a brand with a Danish heritage, that's our latest acquisition also. Very strong in nuts and dried fruits in Denmark, but also increasingly in the other Nordic markets. Helios is a leading organic brand in Norway, Selnat in France. Happy Bee is our brand in the grocery trade in both France and Spain. And then Vegetalia is our main brand in plant-based meat alternatives. So a very strong portfolio of brands and a portfolio that we can and will continue to develop further. We go to the next page. In my mind, Midsona have a number of distinct competitive advantages. The first one is our strength in organic. We do have a very strong integrated supply chain when it comes to organic products. At the top of this page, you see employees out in the fields meeting the growers that actually grow our products. We have a very close connection to growers across the globe. We have a number of production units across Europe which cater for different product needs and create a strong web that we can utilize across all our countries. And that's everything from vegetarian products, spreads, plant-based meat alternatives, which is of course something that is very hot nowadays, baby food, but also organic beauty care products. And this is an enormous strength of ours that we have this integrated chain. We move the page and go to the next competitive edge that I think we have. We are a company that has succeeded in building market-leading brands. And when it comes to organic dry products, Kung Markatta is the leading brand in Sweden, Urtekram in both Denmark and Finland, and the Helios brand in Norway. But we have also other market-leading brands like Friggs in the category of corn and rice cakes. So we are very committed in terms of building our brands, because that's the way both to the customer and the consumer. We move to the next page. As said, we have been quite acquisition driven, and this is a big part of our DNA to be a consolidator in the market. First, we did this in the Nordics by acquiring a number of good family companies. We have a very good integration model where we integrate the companies into the Midsona family, thereby getting both increasing distribution powers across the retail landscape, but also, as you can see, we have been good at realizing synergies, mainly on the cost side. As we integrate the companies, we always, I would say, have some synergies on the cost side. We're doing two types of acquisitions. Platform acquisitions, where we establish new platforms that might be in a new geography and or in a new category. And then we do smaller acquisitions, what we call add-on acquisitions, where we add to existing platforms. Those we usually can do at lower multiples, and we usually also get better synergies because we can integrate them into our overall system. We move the page. And as you can see, and as I've already hinted, we still think that we're only at the beginning of this journey in terms of actually consolidating the European market. When we did our analysis back in 2017, we found almost 1,000 companies as potential acquisition targets. Of course, this list might be somewhat theoretical. Some of the companies might be too small, some might not be for sale. But what I think that it hints at is that this industry is an industry that's ripe for consolidation. Since 2017, there has been some consolidation, but I would still say that the market is very fragmented. And the way I'm looking at this is that this will be different in 5 to 10 years from now, and we would like to be one of the consolidators and thereby building a strong position across Europe. We turn the page again. This is the latest acquisition that we made, and it might have come as a surprise to someone that we did a Nordic acquisition. As I said earlier, we think that the majority of the consolidation in the Nordic market is already done. But this was one of the companies that we were interested in. It's a strong Danish company. We have a strong position in dried fruit and nuts, which is a growing category. Very strong and market-leading position in Denmark, but also a good opportunity for us to use our distribution power in Sweden, Finland, and Norway to further drive the company and the brand. They have their own production with quite a lot of spare capacity, so we're now working hard to actually increase sales by utilizing our system. We turn to the next page. This means that we now have a very strong platform in the Nordics across a number of categories with a number of strong brands. A business that pro forma is close to 3 billion Swedish krona. We get a much stronger position in Denmark, where Systemfrugt was almost as big as we were. But as you can see, Systemfrugt has smaller positions in Sweden, Norway, and Finland. And here we see a good opportunity to develop those positions further by using the distribution power that we have. We turn the page again. Thank you. I guess everyone is talking about sustainability today, but I would say that we have been working on this for quite some time, and we think that we are also quite good at it. Of course, we're working in an industry with healthy and sustainable products, plant-based products, and that's a big part of our heritage. In the past, we had done a lot of good things, but what we realized was that it might have not been as coordinated as we wanted to. So a couple of years ago, we started a big project to consolidate and thereby become even more sustainable and really get to the forefront of sustainability within our industry. And the first step of that we will see when we move to the next page. We have about a year ago set some quite ambitious targets when it comes to sustainability. We have said, for example, I won't go through all of them, but I will point at some of the most important ones. By 2030, 100% of our products should be plant-based or vegetarian. We're actually not that far away from that target already today, but this is something that is very important to us. We are true believers in vegan, vegetarian, and plant-based. And as you all know, there is this big debate about us eating too much meat, which is not good for the health of the people, but also not for the health of the planet. And this is something that we're now working very hard on to actually promote our assortment of plant-based products. We're working a lot with our packaging, waste, transportations, and so on. So this is really something that is quite integrated in our business model and something that we work on day in and day out. And that work has actually paid off quite nicely, and we can go to the next page then. We're very proud of the fact that we are a winner in Dagens Industri, which is the major business periodical in Sweden when it comes to sustainable companies 2020. And there were 8 winners in total, and you can see us all on the front page of Dagens Industri. What makes us a little bit more proud is that when this was announced, our market cap was around 4 billion Swedish krona. The second smallest company on that of the winners had a market cap of 40 billion Swedish krona, and the largest of 40 billion Swedish krona, the largest of 400 billion Swedish krona. So even we as a company with relatively limited resources have shown that we can be at the forefront of sustainability, and that's something that we want to continue. We've also been awarded an ISS ESG Prime rating, which is of course a proof of the fact that the work that we have put in really has paid out. We move to the next page. We are running out of time quite quickly now, so I will just do a short current trading update. We did have a very strong fourth quarter. We had both record net sales and record EBITDA, and a very strong organic sales growth. And this is something that, of course, we're very happy about and very proud of. We also acquired Systemfrugt, took control 1st of October in this quarter, and we announced a major investment in plant-based meat alternatives in our plant down in Spain. So this is something that we are really focused on to be even a stronger player in the segment of plant-based meat alternatives. We move the page. This is pretty much a summary, so I won't go so much into the details, but I think that the figure that is important here is that we have continued to increase our EBITDA margin, and it was up from 9.8% last 2019 to 10.5% in Q4 2020. And we continue. And this is then the summary of the year, and just as the fourth quarter was a record quarter, this was a record year for us. It was a very special year with lots of up and downs, considering the COVID crisis. It was a little bit of a roller coaster. We had some very good quarters, some weaker quarters, but overall, we're very happy about what we've achieved. We have continued to grow net sales at very healthy rates, and something that is very important to us, to grow EBITDA faster than net sales, because that shows that we're increasingly becoming more efficient. And as you can see, the EBITDA margin increased from 9.4% in 2019 to 10.5% in 2020. We continue. This is just a summary of the quarter and the year, and as you can see, we do have both structured growth, which is growth from acquisitions, and organic growth. And then we have quite a negative exchange rate effect, and that's due to the fact that the Swedish krona has strengthened significantly versus the euro. We continue. This is just a way to describe the customer landscape right now. And as you can see, we have had some very strong growth in the FMCG trade, so the mass market. Very much driven by the fact that consumers are spending more time at home, also are increasingly interested in healthy products, and the fact that we have focused very much on this channel. So that has been growing at very nice rates. The other channels are back, and that's, I mean, health food retailers and pharmacies, because fewer people have visited those channels, and food service, because that type of channel caters for restaurants and hotels, and for obvious reasons, that business is then down. But still, overall, very healthy growth rates, both in the quarter and for the full year. And we go to the next page, which is also the last page and the summary page. We do have a very strong fourth quarter behind us, and also a very strong year. It still is a very special situation with COVID, and we do see lots of ups and downs in the business. Very challenging, but as I said, I mean, we're very happy about the way that we have managed the business during 2020. What I didn't talk so much about is the fact that we are very focused on rolling out our brands in the grocery trade in Germany, France, and Spain. And we saw some very good growth in the fourth quarter. And this is something that continues in quarter one, the focus on the grocery trade in those countries. And as we've been growing distribution now, we will step up our marketing investment during the first quarter in those countries. We will continue the integration of Systemfrukt in quarter one. We will actually increase the pace, because we did not do so much in quarter four, because it was the first quarter, and the fourth quarter around Christmas is the high season for Systemfrukt, so the real integration starts this quarter. I would say that we do have a strong underlying business, and we do have some strong trends. We are, however, cycling some very high numbers this quarter, due to the fact that the first quarter last year was very special because of the hoarding during the quarter, because that was when COVID hit, and consumers pretty much raided the stores to get hold of products. So this quarter is challenging in that aspect. But still, I would say that we do have, I think, a very good business model that has proven successful over a number of years. We do see the opportunity to be part of the consolidation move in Europe, which we think is imminent, and we think that we are very well placed to benefit from that. Thank you so much for your attention, and now I think it's time for questions.
Thank you very much, Peter. So unfortunately, we are out of time, but I think your presentation pretty much answered all my questions. So thank you very much, Peter, for your presentation, and thank you everybody for listening in.
Thank you so much.